It sure is. And here we go. I'm gonna let's start sitting up. And I don't know, do you need a deep breath? I need a deep breath. Let's take 5 of them. Let's close our eyes. Just intentionally take a few deep breaths. So without any agenda. Let's see if we can slow down that hurry up part of our brain. And then let's go ahead and move your chin down and feel the back of your neck stretch. Go ahead, you can kind of lower into this, take it into the thoracic spine, and then exhale and articulate all those vertebrae, lifting yourself up. Inhale, open your chest into sternum. And exhale, just let the weight of the head stretch your neck. As you come down, let's inhale, come up. And exhale, rounding that down. You can feel yourself push your sits bones into the floor as your head comes up, the front of the neck, your throat, it all stretches. Good, inhale, and now let's leave your head up. And then we're just gonna float. So I'm gonna take my rib cage over to the right and kind of hinge from my left shin bone and stretch my neck. So I'm actually kind of pulling here with my arms, letting my neck stretch. Good, inhale, sweep that up, changing sides, hands to the shin, and then just let your head go. Sides of the neck stretch. Good, we're gonna inhale, sit all the way up. And then with your right arm, just circle it around a little bit, almost like it's a lasso. I'm gonna check in with your shoulder. Good, and then let it circle the other way. And you can kind of move the shoulder, or move the humerus bone through the whole shoulder joint. Good. And then let's take that hand to the opposite ear and just stretch. Good, give that a couple breaths. Good, and then we'll exhale, take that hand, let it come across you. Opposite arm, let it stretch and circle. So you're sort of using your bottom arm as a bit of an anchor for your shoulder and your clavicle. And then let that arm move the other way, just floating freely. Good, and then we're gonna take that hand up and over and exhale, let the head come stretch towards the arm bone. Good, let's inhale, take 2 hands now behind the head. Let the head and chest stretch up, your shoulder blades pull together. If it feels nice to kind of rock the spine a little bit side to side, try that. Just sort of freeing up held tightness and tension in the neck, shoulders, and upper back. Good. Let the elbows move forward and let the elbows move back as you sit tall. Good. And feel just a stretch there through the shoulders, even into the forearms. And then let's pause with the elbows in and let the head come down. So a little added stretch to the neck through the weight of the hands. And then let's exhale, extend the 2 arms up. Check your chin over one shoulder, over the other shoulder. And we're going to take 2 hands to the right knee. press, reach the spine up, back and twist. One more big breath here. And then we'll sweep the arms around, find the other side. And again, push back as you twist, as your head turns. And now we'll sweep and take ourselves up once again. Take two hands behind your back. Stretch towards one knee and float over it. Good. Let the left sitting bone move down. Or your opposite sits bone, I should say. Good. Exhale, take that twist across the body. And then we're going to exhale, open up, floating your two legs out. And now I've got one hand on either leg, and I'm going to inhale, come up, and then exhale, just slide down. Inhale, you can even kind of press your hands into your legs as you come to sit tall. And exhale, slide down the legs. So trying to open in your hips. Inhale, sitting up. Exhale, creating that slide down the leg. Inhale up. Exhale, slide. Inhale, this time we'll sit up. And from the legs, you can take your hands to the inner thighs and exhale and hinge back to the shoulder blades. Or moving apart as your head comes down. And then we'll inhale, come up. Good. Let the hands now move forward. And a little cat-cow through the spine. Up and over and back. Up and over. Good. And one more time, back. Up and over. Good. And then let's lengthen out your two legs. And take your hands, two hands to the outside of the right leg. 5 breaths. Inhale, the arms will sweep all the way over and find that stretch. Two hands on the outside of the left leg, so big stretch through the backs of the arms. Okay, let's inhale, floating up one more time. Now I'm going to just fold my right knee in and turn towards that leg a little bit, letting my head come up. So this is like a mini pigeon. And then exhale, bring the arms, let them float down. It feels nice to kind of rock into your hips here. Good. It might also be helpful to roll your left hip down, take your gaze over your right shoulder, and try to look at your left toes behind you. Bringing up your neck. And then we'll inhale, roll ourselves back up, extend that right leg, or if you're mirroring me, your left. And then we'll fold the opposite leg and then just roll, roll, roll. So again, right here, it feels nice to kind of rock the hips a little bit forward and back. Good, as you kind of get that right hip down a little closer towards the floor. As it moves down, maybe your sternum wants to rise up. Good, and then maybe another breath takes you to the floor. And again, if rocking the hip is good, give that a go. And then you can take your gaze all the way over your left shoulder. to look at your right toes. Good. Let's press into your hands, press through your back toes and come into an all fours position. From here, take a little cat-cow once again up your back. So with each inhale, really feel the back as it rounds and then as it arches. Good. And then from here, make a few circles with your hips. Take them all the way around. Good. And then again, you're going to reach your head and your hips in one direction. So over to the right. Maybe you reach some weight back as you go. Good. Inhale, coming back up. And reaching that weight over to the left. Inhale right back up. This time let the forearms come down and let the tailbone lift. Stretch the arm bones out and front. And let the hips stay lifted. Inhale, draw some weight back. So you pull the sitting bones back with the top of the head. Now come to the floor for a moment. And this can be a nice stretch for the neck. From here, exhale, move some weight back. Take your left arm underneath you and your right arm, maybe walk it a little bit further up, maybe even behind the head. Good. Exhale, push into that hand, and we'll find that stretch on the other side. So you'll let that head come to the floor and just walk your upper arm, maybe even over your head, behind the ear just a little. And then we'll push with that upper arm and find ourselves coming down onto the floor, onto the belly. So let's exhale and take a moment to bend and straighten your knees just a few times. Good. So really feel one heel pull back as the other heel reaches towards your glutes. All right, let's go ahead and hold one leg down and then take your hand, let it reach and wrap around, maybe holding on there for a moment to your ankle. And then we'll use an exhale to lift the thigh up and deepen that stretch there. Good. Exhale, allow that to release. Let's switch sides. Opposite hand pulls underneath your head. And then opposite, the left hand now comes to the left ankle. And then exhale, allow that leg to lift. up from there, we'll let it release. Let's practice now just bending and straightening your two knees together, feeling the heels reach back towards your sits bones. Good. Now pause with the knees bent. And then exhale, pushing in with your hands. Let the sternum come up. And exhale, allow that to release. Take the hands to the ankles. And squeeze the knees in and pull. First, just the shoulder blades together. Then the elbows pull up. Then the thighs lift. And the head and the chest rise up. And exhale, release. Let the soles of the feet come together. So the knees have opened to the sides. And then we'll allow the legs to lengthen nice and long. Just rock the hips. And then roll onto the left side or your side furthest from the computer screen. And then we're going to start with your top leg here. So you're going to bend the knee, reach it forward, and I'll take it down and up. So we'll just take this pattern a few times, kind of working on freeing the hip, bending the knee, reaching it out. And this is with a steady pelvis. Good. So imagine you can really feel the leg float in the hip socket. Good. And now we're going to pause with the knee bent. Let it circle a few times. Circle the other way. Good. Let the knee travel forward. Set it down. And then exhale. Take the top arm and let it circle. And it can circle the other way. But just noticing where the shoulder is tight and tense, move slowly. Let the arm travel behind you. And then allow the bottom knee to bend. Hand moves to the foot, pull the heel back towards the sits bone. And then we'll exhale. Release the leg. Take the two knees, bending, coming over. And we'll try that little sequence on the other side. So take your top leg, let it bend for a moment. Let it extend, lift, and lower. Good. So again, aiming to feel the femur bone just floating in the hip socket. The knee bending, the knee extending, lifting, and coming down. I will go ahead and pause now with that top knee. Let it come and stretch forward for a moment. Go ahead and then take a few circles here with the top arm. And then allow the top arm to travel around the other way. And then let's just pause with the arm floating back behind you. The bottom knee can bend. And we'll stretch into that femur joint, femur bone, pressing the hip crease down into the floor. One more big breath. And then we'll slide the top leg down towards the bottom leg, and we should be facing the other side of the mat now. We'll work a little bit on Bhujangasana into Shalabhasana. So let's exhale. Lift your head and chest, and just feel your belly squeeze in to support your back vertebra. Good. Once again, check your neck and shoulders. Move the chin down and up, side to side. And from here, let's let the elbows come down for a moment, and then try extending one arm out. Good. So when you lift, make sure the shoulder blade pulls down the back. Exhale, release. Trying that on the other side, just the arm floating out. Two arms down. Now lift the back leg, one back leg. So this is my left leg up. And now the right leg. And then we're going to take the right arm and left leg, lift them for a couple of breaths. See if the right hand can now move to your sacrum, to the low back, and then gradually reach the left heel and pull up. Or left foot. Let's exhale, release that down. Try it on the other side. So now right leg, left arm up. And then sweeping the left arm behind your back, letting the right knee bend. Seeing if the hand and foot come together, and a big stretch. Freeing the hip socket. Exhale, release. Press the two hands into the floor. Curl the 10 toes underneath you. Exhale, lift your head and chest up. Find another Bhujangasana. Deep stretch of the back. Your head can move towards the ceiling, stretching the throat. And then we're going to exhale, pull the weight back. Let the hips move back into a child's pose now. So that means your heels are reaching down towards the sitting bones. The knees can open just a little to let the ribs melt through. We'll keep reaching our fingertips out, come back through all fours, and then let the right foot move forward so you can stretch the hip. Exhale, move the weight of the body back. This should let you stretch your hamstring. You could even wrap your right arm onto your back and even the left arm onto the back. Exhale, release. Take your two hands out. And then let's move the right leg back in and take another child's pose. Reaching the hips all the way back. Imagine you had a little baby elephant sitting on your sacrum. We'll reach back up into the fingertips, finding all fours, and then exhale, let the left leg move forward, stretch the two hips. You could even come onto the forearms here. So your right hip is melting towards the floor. And then we'll take a breath, curl our back toes back behind us. You have a little anchors. You move the weight back to stretch your left hamstring. You could stay here or let that knee bend slightly. Let the left arm move to the outside of the hip and the right arm right next to it. Let's exhale, take the hands back out, take the foot, and then this time, instead of lowering into a child's pose, lower back through the hips. Lift the two legs up and lift the two arms out, Shalabhasana. Good, and then we'll sweep the hands onto the low back. Pull your sternum up just a hair. Good, take the 10 toes to the floor. As you do, lift the knees and pull the fingers back towards the heels. Place the palms under the shoulders, bend the knees, lift the hips, find a down dog. So in down dog, we'll let the tailbone rise all the way up. We'll reach back all the way with our hands. Go ahead, keep the tailbone lifting and let the knees move back to the floor. Forearms anchor into the mat, press the elbows down, lift the hips. And then from there, let's exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly lower those bones back down to the mat. Press into the hands. Let the left leg extend. Let the right arm come out. 5 breaths. And exhale, release. Opposite side, extend the right leg. Let the left arm float out. Pull up through the rib cage, up through the belly. 5 breaths. Pull both knees back in. Exhale, coming onto your knees. Let's face the computer or the screen. Inhale, sweep 2 arms up. Exhale, open wide. Left leg or mirror me. That leg extends to the side. Stretch, reach over. Two arms travel forward. Inhale, take a little cat-cow with your spine. And now you'll walk the opposite hand away from that leg, coming through a little side plank. Good. Let the head drop down. Let the top arm drop down. And then exhale, let them rise up. Good. Let's bend the knee, hand to the foot, stretch once again through the hip. And then exhale, slowly let that come down. Finding yourself on the other side. Let's exhale, stretch and reach out. Arms are wide. Come fold over this leg. Parigasana, gate pose. Remember that thing we did in the beginning of class where you kind of pulled back with the arms? You can do that here as you lift through the inner thigh. And then we'll inhale, take the arms, come forward. Take a little cat-cow so you kind of rocked and rolled. Head and tail moving down and up. And then from here, I'm going to take my hands and walk them away from my extended leg. Top arm up, taking a little prep for a side plank. And then move the head and the arm down. So a deep stretch through the ribs. And then up into a little side plank. Reach the top arm towards your bottom toes. Exhale, fold there at the foot, stretch. All right, and then we're gonna fold that right back down. Crossing your ankles and come just hang for a moment. You can come lay back on the mat. I'll be back in a second. I gotta check the potatoes. Oh, I hope that was a nice Shavasana. All right. So lying back on your mat. They're not burned, don't worry. Exhale. I'm going to just rock my knees a little bit side to side. Okay, so just letting the hips kind of rock and stretch. And then if you want to turn those little side to side movement into more of a circle, and then you can allow that to circle in the opposite direction. And then from there, go ahead, hold your pelvis nice and steady so the hip bones, and then circle the legs, let them move away from each other and right back in. And then let them circle out and away. Maybe the more we stabilize the hips, the more you'll just feel this in your abdominal muscles. Let's place the left foot on the floor and take the right hand to your right foot. And exhale, begin to extend that knee. So just any amount the knee extends. Good. Give it a few breaths, reaching through the heel, pulling the sitting bone down. And then we're going to exhale, let the two legs open to the side, the bent one, the straight one. And then let's bend that top leg and let it come across your torso. So it's almost like I was going to reach my right heel towards my left shoulder. Bottom knee can stay neutral. Then you'll take your right hand to the left ankle and squeeze the two knees together. Exhale, extend the two legs with your hands there at the feet if you can. And then use an exhale to let the two legs float up. Let the arms and legs just circle a few times together. Good, circle the other way. Now we'll bend the right knee, place the foot on the floor, take your left hand to the outside of the foot and begin to straighten the knee. Good, let's exhale, let the left leg move out, let the right leg move out also. Exhale, bringing that leg back in, take your right hand to the left foot and then let that leg just come up so the heel is moving towards the shoulder. You can even kind of rest your two hands or your forearm over it for a moment. And then we're going to exhale, let the leg fully cross, let the bottom leg come up. And now hands and ankles, hands and feet together. From there, letting the hands release, keep the legs connected at the thighs. and extend. And then uncrossing the legs, 2 arms up. Let the right arm and left leg circle together. Circle the other direction. Good, let the left arm, right leg circle together. And circle in the opposite direction. Take your 2 arms up and bring the 2 feet to the floor. Let the pelvis pull up off of the mat. Big stretch. Exhale, releasing that down. Now take the 2 hands to the outsides of the legs. As the legs float over the chest, you can hug opposite hand to elbow, and then perhaps slide the elbows down the legs. You can stay soft with your knees. So you really feel a big stretch and opening in the sacroiliac. Exhale, releasing that, let it come down. Let the hands move to your sides. Let the feet move back to the floor. And once again, we're going to push up through the pelvis. Let the palms pull together. Now tuck the shoulder blades together a little bit more as the arm bones press down. As the hips rise up. Inhale, let the pelvis come down. Let the 2 legs float up. Once again, this time we'll take the hands to the inner legs, right? So instead of wrapping to the out, we'll go to the in. And then just let the legs float as close to the floor as is comfortable for them. You can kind of melt the tailbone away from your head. Kind of letting the weight of the arms help stretch the hips. Exhale, let the feet pull together in front of your pelvis on the floor. Take the palms together over your chest, and then you're going to slide the right fingertips to the left palm and then press in. Slide the left fingertips to the right palm, press in, stretching your wrist. Okay, you can kind of change your relationship to gravity here by letting the right fingers reach up and then reach down. We can do this on the other side. That feels really good to me. So let the fingertips come down and up and just let the wrist stretch. Good. Go ahead. Interlace the fingers, move the arms up overhead, then push the feet in and let the pelvis rise up. Exhale, slowly let that move down. Good, let the thigh bone stretch there, melting into the floor. Bring the interlaced fingers back behind your head. Exhale. Open the elbows for a moment, so press them in towards the floor. And then pull the elbows in and let the head come up. You can lightly let the head move side to side. And then move the chin in, stretch the back of the neck a little more. And then exhale, extend the two legs, lengthen the neck out, open the arms into an X position, and let's just take a good 5 to 10 breaths. Take a big breath out into the fingers and toes. Maybe giving a little wiggle in there. Oh, stretch your wrists. Circle them, circle the ankles. One big long breath. And then we're going to roll onto the right side, rest in a fetal position. And bring ourselves up into seated. Bring the palms together. Bow the head, close the eyes. Your practice is a gift, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Namaste.